Welcome to Inspiring Possible. I'm Christy Pennison, former stuck person turned therapist and dream consultant. Are you feeling stuck, overwhelmed, uncertain, or just need a little inspiration? Then I want to help you gain the clarity, confidence, and courage to create possibilities and live a life you love. Because folks, life's too short to be miserable.
Welcome back, Inspiring Possible people. I'm so excited that you are listening here today because I really think that the guests we have on the podcast today are really going to be inspirational for you. You know, sometimes we have different things or challenges or obstacles that we all face in life. And sometimes we may think that things aren't possible for us. But if that is you today, then you've came to the right place because I have a pair of brothers on the show today, Brent and Kyle Pease, who are co-founders of the Kyle Pease Foundation. And today they've completed over 150 endurance races, which is wild to me. We're going to talk about this in a minute, guys. Okay. Raised almost $10 million for inclusion and hold the Ironman World Championship push assist world record. And I think what's unique about them when I was kind of like looking at y'all's backstory is just the story of y'all as brothers and then what y'all have been able to not only overcome, but really shed light to and really push life beyond its limits. And so I'm really excited to have y'all on the show today. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, so let's talk about this because I'm just going to be 100% honest with y'all, and my listeners probably know this. Like, getting me to even run is a challenge. Like, I do some type of workouts in the mornings, but like, I can't even imagine the scope of what y'all have done. So I'm curious, when did this start for you both? Like, when did y'all start doing, I guess, these races together?
Yeah, we started in 2011. Um it was really born through watching Brett do his first Ironman in 2010 at Louisville, Kentucky. And I would get enthralled by what Brett did that day. Along with all the other athletes, it reminded me a lot of my life here living with cerebral palsy. So at the end of Brett's very long day, I asked him if people were really care to do Ironman, and he said yes. And here we are now.
And here y'all are now. So Brent was like, okay. Kyle was like, do you think we can do this? And so then y'all made it happen. Had anybody ever done this before, y'all?
Yeah, and it's much more prevalent now than what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So the father-son, Rick and Dick Hoyt, had done it for years. When we came into the space, we actually thought like, oh, wow, we're it. There's nobody. And as we did it, we met more and more people. So it's just much more out there. I think more so because inclusion is out there. So there was certainly plenty of examples for us to kind of figure out how to actually navigate this stuff.
Yeah, well, this is wild. Like, because again, again, barely can run, guys. So, Brent and Kyle, did y'all always kind of play sports growing up, or do type of athletic things, or what's kind of y'all's childhood story, and who picked on who is what I need to know growing up.
Oh, um, uh, we definitely picked on each other a whole lot. But I was always the one that would cry at the dinner table because both of my brothers would pick on me and all of that. But yeah, I think um I get that, you know, growing up, we always had this special bond, and Brett was always the bigger brother and the protector of me and wanted to make sure that I was included in everything that we did. And my family was a big part of that as well, including our parents that really facilitated going on vacation and making sure that I was included in every activity that we did. Although it might have been a little monorating to accommodate the disability, but it was really, we were really close growing up, and we still are now.
Yeah. So they found a way. They're like, we're just going to figure this out and we're all going to do this together.
Yeah, that was the
Yes.
mentality from the onset for them, you know? And I think
Hmm.
the bones of what we do today was, from the example set by our parents when we were kids, and that allowed Kyle and I to have that relationship because we were able to share so much together. Not that we wouldn't have had a relationship, I just think it would have looked different. So we have this
Yeah.
what we have today is a reflection of what we had yesterday too.
Yeah. Do y'all have any other siblings or is it just y'all two?
Yeah, I have a twin brother, uh,
Okay.
and he used to run with us, but he slowed us down at one event, and a very it was a 4 mile race, and he slowed us down because he had a good night. He had a good time the night before, and I'm like I'm very competitive, so he kind of knew right then that me and Brett were serious about our endeavor. But he's a big supporter of what we do.
Yeah. So I guess after that fun night he had, y'all were like, listen, we're going hard in this. We're not like just doing this. We're not trying to be the amateurs. We're like trying to win this. And, if you're kind of just holding us back, we're going to respectfully ask that just cheer us on from the sidelines. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
What do you think has been the biggest challenge for y'all? I mean, 150 endurance races, I can't even wrap my head around that. Like, two would be a lot for me. But tell me a little bit about like what's the biggest obstacles that y'all have faced in doing some of these endurance races since 2011 when y'all first did it together?
Um, I mean, there's so many. I mean, I think the biggest thing is that what we do is hard. Um, but
Hmm.
everybody has their hard. Kyle's hard is noticeable. It's easy to see that he might have more challenges in a day than say me. Um, and so the racing is kind of the same thing. It's like, what was like which one stands out or which one was the hard? Like they all had something hard about them. And that's what has always kept us close together is kind of the beauty in sharing those experiences and sharing them together. Like that's really what this has been. And so what I would tell you is that over the years, we've gotten better and better at managing that and kind of accepting it. There was this Olympian from Summer Olympics a couple ago. I can't remember her name, and she had this great line. And they were like, "Well, what do you do when it gets hard?" And she just says, "I just welcome the pain. I just say hello." And it's like, that's kind of what Kyle does because he's always dealt with some level of pain and discomfort. He's always had something every day where, like, I could have a day where if I just lay on the couch all day, it feels nice and relaxing and my body's not, broken, But for Kyle, somebody's got to get him out of bed. Somebody's got to do that. So we've just gotten more connected over the years, to where the race that we did in Hawaii, where we set an unofficial record. Thank you for calling it a world record, but nobody recognizes it but us right now. Um,
Hey, listen, I'll be ones to align along with y'all. Okay.
we'll take it. We worked hard for that, but like that there was a 34-mile stretch together. That's probably some of the hardest 34 miles we've ever done together, and we were so connected in the suffering that all we kept saying to each other was, "Hey, I'm so thankful for you." Like over and over, we just would
Oh,
say that to each other. And like in the moment, it just felt like it was love. But that's what this has always been. Like what Kyle and I have done in racing together for each other has always been about love. It was his love of me, my love of him, and our love of sports. And it just took us a little while, say maybe 15 years, to kind of learn that that was what we always signed up for. So like when it got hard this time, instead of like me kind of panicking and Kyle having to talk me through it or Kyle physically being, beat to hell and kind of having to lean on me physically, like we just both were like, we're here and we're together and this is what we always wanted. So let's just enjoy this. And what a great
yeah.
perspective to be able to share together.
Well, and I think you said something that I think probably resonate. When you are going through hard, it's so much. I'm not saying that it takes it away, but it's like when there's somebody that is stuck in the hard with you,
Hmm.
then it's like I'm not alone in this. And I think, kind of even in my line of work, what I do for a living, mental health is where my background comes from. a lot of people will go through hard things and hard places wherever that is, whether it's them pushing themselves through trying something new that they've never done before, or maybe they're suffering a loss, or they're going through some unexpected tragedy in their life. But if they can have somebody that kind of is in the hard with them, whether it be to witness it or to go through it with them, then it just, again, you get to the other side and you're like, hey, we survived that. It might have sucked and was terrible and hard, but we figured it out. We didn't quit. And so it sounds like for y'all to help you not quit, it's a lot of that encouragement back and forth and just gratitude for each other. What would you say to somebody who maybe is trying something new for the first time? Maybe it is like maybe they're starting their first race, or maybe they want to do an Ironman or something, or even something in their life that maybe they've wanted to try and they've never done before. What would you tell people when they feel like they want to quit? Like, what's the biggest thing that y'all have learned that's helped you not quit?
Have you seen A League of Their Own? Do you remember that movie from the 90s?
I sure do. Yeah.
There's that great quote from Tom Hanks's character when he said, "The heart is what makes it great." Right? Like, and I think that's what I would remind people is like the things in life that are the most worthwhile, that you get the most from, often are the things that challenged you the most at times. And so if you're thinking about an Ironman, or you're dealing with, some adversity, or working through some stuff from a mental health perspective, like those are the moments that make you feel alive and that help you understand, how strong and capable you truly are. And so give yourself a chance, because if you don't try, you'll never know. And that's been something for both of us that I think always has resonated.
Yeah, I say this a lot. Me, uh, being in a wheelchair, and I sit in my chair about 14 to 16 hours a day. And if anybody ever thinks about quitting, it's me. There are days that are better than others for me, but then I'm reminded of what I get to do with my brother, and as a platform that I have been given, and that to share with people that participate with the Kyle Pease Foundation, that we get to, we don't have to, and we get to see the finish line um, for so many people, and we get to help people experience that. I always tell people that, yes, we have a mission as a nonprofit. We rely on very generous supporters and donors to help us. But I want somebody, when they come to a race, because Brett has done this for me, and multiple races for me. When I'm in a race with Brett, I forget about my disability, and I'm a competitor with Brett, and I focus on getting us to the finish line. So I want people to know that, yes, life is hard, and yes, there will be days that you think that you want to quit, but keep pushing, keep pursuing, because you never know how you're going to impact somebody with your next step or your next move.
Yeah, just keep pushing. Well, let me ask y'all this. How did the foundation come about? Because I know that is a big, and what is, maybe you can share a little bit about what the mission of the foundation, and because it's one thing to do these things, but then y'all didn't stop there. Y'all are like, okay, let's figure out how we can also create something that could also really impact others. So maybe talk a little bit about the mission, and then how that all came about, whose idea was it, and all that good stuff.
So I think it was the combination of the both of us. I'll talk a little bit about how the foundation was born, and then I'll get into the mission. The found the It was born after me and Brett and our other brother Evan did our first triathlon in 2011 in Florida. And as we were getting ready to cross the finish line, I screamed because I was so excited. And I had this aha moment that I was like, I have to get my friends the people that I know that are living with a disability, I have to get them involved so that they can see how much fun this is. And so that's how the foundation was born. And the mission is to improve the lives of people with disability through sports and beyond.
Yeah. What are some of the things that y'all have heard or some of the things that have come out of the foundation already to date?
Last year, we served 170 families, and so it's grown to help us understand that, sports is this confidence builder, this experience that provides hope. What we set out to was just to be inclusive. Like it was something our parents did. It was something we experienced, as Kyle just shared. What we didn't anticipate was what it would really create for not only the athlete, but their families. And so now we have a grant program that gives away nearly $100,000 a year. We have an employment program that employs 8 people with disabilities. And so it's like what we say now is that, the race itself is just the start line. Finishing a 5K or a marathon or an Ironman is just the starting point. And so the foundation has evolved in the same way that Kyle has through life. I mean, Kyle has 2 jobs and he manages a team of caregivers on his own for his own life. Like he lives this independent life. And so when you look at him and say, wow, that's so cool, he's done 6 Ironmans, it pales in comparison sometimes to what it's providing for so many others. And so he's taken this really special opportunity of being an athlete, and as he's shared, to forget about his disability. And he's told, as many as, I don't know, 400 or 500 families at this point. That's guessing. Let's not hold to that, Kyle. But it's been a lot of families that have been impacted, and it's more than just the race. And we're really fortunate that Kyle just had a moment to say, I want others with me, not just, I want to race with you, Brent, as long as we can. I mean, 150 races is crazy, and it's not something I recommend for everybody. We're both exhausted, but look at what it's providing, and not just them, but their families, and not just their families, but us too.
Well, and like you said, I'm sure it's probably even more than 400 to 500, even though y'all did say this is what we're doing, because it has ripple impact, right? So it's like not just the people that are directly being impacted, it's the people that are directed by the families that are impacted. I always say that, like, I believe that change or just impact or influence that's for the positive on people's lives is really like that pebble you throw into the lake, and it just has the, ripples that go out. We just never know how far those ripples really go, but
hmm
it really does, I guess, give hope to people. And it sounds like it has its fun moments, right? It's not all hard. Like you said, Kyle, like when you first time cross the finish line, you're like, man, this is awesome. I want other people, I don't want to be the only person, that's experiencing this. I want to invite other people to be a part of this as well.
Yeah, but when you do the Ironman, they're the most fun that you never want to have again.
The most fun you never want to have again. Okay, tell me more about that. Because again, I've never done an Ironman. So, for somebody who is a novice and maybe somebody's listening, I know one person that's done one, but that's about it. And me and her had a conversation. I was like, let's talk about how this was, right? But tell me more about that. Why is the
Well, it's like what we
most fun that you really don't want to have again?
Yeah, it's like what we described. Like it's the hard stuff that makes you, feel and experience things. And, it's like we've done races like triathlons where we're getting in the water both thinking, I don't want to do this today. And it's because we both know what's coming. Like it's going to be really hard. Like there's an advantage in
Yeah.
knowing what's coming, right? Like we're kind of prepared for it. And so, but then when you start to go through it and you start to kind of work through those challenges, when you finish, you've literally climbed a mountain, and all of those endorphins are coming rushing through, and the body chemistry is just awake and alive, and like you're just screaming from the mountaintop because you've just done this huge thing. And so then you finish and you're like, never again, right? And then a couple of days later you're like, I could do that again. I mean, we did Kona October of 24. We have not done a triathlon since then, and this year Kyle was like, you think maybe we should do a half Ironman? I was like, what? I thought you said we were done, right? But it's like you want to feel things in life, and challenging things like this really both make us both feel alive. It connects us both deeply.
Mhm.
And so as challenging as it may be at times, like we've been at each other's throats, we've cried, we've yelled, we've hugged, we've done it all. and you want
Yeah, I can imagine that too. Like sometimes points probably bickering at each other along
Oh,
as only
yes.
brothers
Oh,
can.
yes.
race that
As
have.
only brothers can.
Yeah, well, listen, I have a brother, so that's the only brother I have, and I can think about our dynamic. And sometimes, he's still on these to this day. I love you, brother, if you're listening, but he can get on my everlast nerve. But then there's other days where you're like, yeah, I'm super grateful that, we have these experiences in life together to be able to, have somebody to do the journey with. And to your point about the mountaintop, I think what's cool of what y'all have done is like, I always think, and I actually like to hike. That's one of my, I guess, if I'm doing something I'm not running, I'm hiking. And I went on this really cool hiking adventure last year, but when I get to something really beautiful, the biggest thing, like to the end where you've just really pushed yourself to get to this point, it's really not fun to just be standing there alone,
Mhm.
And so it sounds like what y'all have been able to do, not only together, but is to invite people up to the mountaintop with y'all to experience what this must be like to go through the hard, but still get to the end. Even though there's times during that whole situation you want to give up. And to your point, Kyle, of like how sometimes that's a day to day thing for you, anyways. But like
Mm.
doing this athletic type stuff where y'all are racing and doing these endurance races or triathlons and things like that, it really sounds like it helps you forget and then also helps you remember like that I can do hard.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, what's the funniest moment? I'm just curious. The funniest moment y'all have ever had. I know
Well,
y'all got
there's
one.
there's a lot, but the one that we just both remembered is that, triathletes tend to be pretty disgusting, and one of the things most of them do is they just go to the bathroom on themselves during the bike. But the thing about that is for Kyle.
Okay, I did not know this. I did not know this.
Yeah, so like
I'm learning a lot today, guys.
you might be learning or you might already have an idea where this is going. But so Kyle, somebody has to take Kyle to the bathroom. But when we do an Ironman, nobody has to
Mhm.
take him. He can just go whenever he wants. And in our very first
Yeah.
Ironman, this is 2013, I stopped to get us some food. There's like little food, aid stations along the way. And I'm like leaning forward to give Kyle some food on the bike. He sits in front of me and I feel something splashing and I look down at him and he's just smiling at me and he's peeing and it's splashing all over me. And like, what are you going to do? You're in the middle of an Ironman. And like, we started pedaling and I was kind of quiet for a little bit and he looked back and just started giggling and is like, how great is that he doesn't have to ask, but then yet he's like, it's disgusting and hilarious at the same time.
Well, and I guess that's one thing about doing it together, right? Is like that you're like, again, this is just the reality of how it goes and you got
Mhm.
to keep going. And so, and then you're like, and then I think you would really bond even more so.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Kyle, is that your funniest memory or?
Oh, honey, I I have so many memories, but, I I think going to the bathroom, is always funny. But I like to have a good time. I like to laugh a lot. So it could be the stupidest thing, and I get to laugh for like 5 minutes,
Mhm.
even though it's really not funny. It's funny to me. So yeah,
Well, that's good. That means that you have a good sense of humor. I'm one that like sometimes I'll be laughing at my own jokes and nobody else thinks that's funny, but I think it's funny. So we're gonna roll on with that.
yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit to, I know you've kind of shared a little bit about what the foundation kind of does, but what is there a particular maybe story or somebody's life that has been impacted that really just sticks out to you and then also gives you motivation to continue to expand the services and things that the foundation's able to offer?
Yeah, so we just did, we had a huge grant presentation, I guess, last week. And so everybody from our team had to be there. So we have 8 employees with disabilities. They were all there. Our staff, we had board members. There was 25 people from the organization. And one of the things that's great about Kyle is how spontaneous he can be in those settings. And so the women who were this grant committee, they said, "Is there anything else?" And Kyle said, "Yeah, I'd like all of our employees with disabilities to speak. I want you to each say what, like, how you got here and what this means to you." And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Kyle, what are you doing?" They like none of these kids were prepared to talk today, and we were going down the line, and this young woman Natalie who works for us, who is Her desk is decorated. She has a nameplate. She has pictures. Like, she's so excited to have an office. And she said, I race with the Kyle Pease Foundation, but it's also very important that I'm here because I help bring more families in to do what we do. And I recruit them and I call them and I work really hard. And, and I did the Boston Marathon, and she's rattling off all the things she does, both as an employee, as an athlete, and just as a woman, who's living her life. And it was so fun to watch that. And you could see the grant committee connecting with her because of what Kyle did. And so I think there's, literally hundreds of stories like that. But that one was so recent that it really stuck with me because Kyle, I don't know what it's like to live physically with a disability. I know what it's like to be around it. I see what Kyle goes through, but I don't experience that. And he does. And he knows sitting in that room that there's 8 people with disabilities with a job that feel really proud of it. And instead of letting me talk the whole time or Kyle talk the whole time, he said, you guys should talk because I want everybody in this room to know what this means to you. And I think that just showcases what we do here.
Man, that's powerful.
Thank you.
Anything would you agree, Kyle, or is there something else that stands out? I saw you smiling over there.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I think that was a powerful moment. But the foundation is celebrating 15 years of service, and
Wow.
yeah, so it's a pretty big deal.
Congratulations,
Thank
guys. That's
you.
a really huge deal.
Yeah,
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. I appreciate that. I just think, some more athletes are verbal, and then there are some athletes that are not verbal. And there's a family out of Augusta, Georgia, and they come up periodically to race with us. And Noah is the athlete, and Noah is not vocal, but Noah laughs, and you get to just tell by his eyes how much he enjoys racing with the foundation and being a part of our family. And Noah was one of our 10 very first athletes that we helped. So Noah always had a very special place in my heart because him and his family trusted us at the very beginning when we didn't have a whole lot of place that we do now. Um, it was just, they trusted us. And that's we owe them and uh, all of our original athletes a lot of gratitude because they trusted us as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you can start something, but you have to have people that come along and say like, yeah, like, okay, I trust where you want to go. We're here for it. Like, let's figure out how to make this happen. And I do think to your point, Kyle, there's always, I can even think about my journey, people that join are early joiners of anything that you're trying to build or create, and they believe in the mission and the vision as much as you do. Like, those people really do help you build the foundation that then gives, I don't want to say gives permission, but then we'll invite others to say like, okay, maybe I'm going to join in on this too.
Yeah.
And figure out like, help continue to grow and expand the mission and the vision that y'all have going on. So that's pretty cool. What's been hard about leading a foundation? Because like you said, Brent, to your point earlier, you said Kyle not only, leads the people that helps care, but also part of the foundation. So Kyle, I'm just curious for you, what's been the most rewarding about leadership and maybe the most challenging?
Hmm. I think as the foundation has grown, we have brought in more people, and um, it could be difficult and stressful to manage a team and making sure that they understand our mission and thinking for how we want the foundation to continue to leave a positive impact on the community and the people that we serve. So that can be challenging. But it's also rewarding that we can bring along people into family and they could be a part of what we're building.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure, and I'm guessing that people that do become a part of y'all's foundation or, a part of a service, like recipient of whether it be some of the grants that y'all do or things like that, they're probably then you're part of the Kyle Pease Foundation for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you're not going nowhere. Now you're committed, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
gonna be here and help us fulfill this. Well, and y'all do everything from like kids to adults. So now y'all have a Kyle Pease Kids program. Maybe y'all can talk a little bit about what that's focused on because it's cool to have like an early adoption where you're getting kids when they are younger to be able to participate in things like this.
It's a big part of where, again, like where we felt like for so long it was about inclusion. So we're just going to include everybody, but to then say, here's this opportunity to, teach the next generation, not only of the athletes, but the volunteers. And so the kids program that we have is about, teaching the next wave of volunteers and philanthropists and exposing them to it. I mean, my son just ran with me and Kyle. My son's 8. And after the race, he met this kid, Cameron, who's 9, but they're in the same grade. And that's what Henry said to me, my son. He goes, Daddy, we're in the same grade. And I was like, yeah, Cameron is just like you. He goes to school, he runs in races, he plays sports, he likes, Pokemon and the Braves and like all the things that you talk about. And it just normalizes it. Like that's such
Mhm.
a cool and unique thing. And just something that since we started this as adults, we probably had forgotten what it was like growing up with it, right? In the way that
Yeah.
that people understand it today. And so bringing everybody in that way has been really rewarding for us to witness. We've got a team that really manages that much better than we can. But it's great to see it. It's wonderful, and it's a true testament to the growth of the Kyle Pease Foundation that we need dedicated programming for the next wave.
Yeah. Well, and that's cool because I do think, I don't know about y'all, but like, again, your experience growing up shaped your, view and how you view the world and even made you more of an advocate for inclusion. But unless like, it must have been really heartwarming for your 8-year-old to then have that experience with a kid that's his age and
Mhm.
realize like, yes, we all have these similar interests, views, and just because our abilities might look a little different, it doesn't mean that we still can't all pursue the same things. It just may look differently along the way. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I know for me, I guess my first experience with understanding a little bit more inclusion is whenever I was in high school, I had an opportunity to be a part of the Lions Camp. I don't know if y'all familiar with this. Lions Camp does different camps, and they do inclusion from like all the way from kids that have maybe more diabetes to ones that have more other physical challenges, and then even some mental challenges. And I think for me, at a younger age, just having a little bit more exposure to understanding that people are very more alike than they are different, even though, like you said earlier, Brent, on the outside, their
Mhm.
challenges might be more noticeable than others. It really gave me a different perspective of the world. So it sounds like that through the kids program, you're exposing children even a little bit more younger than adults to really be able to say, like, look, not only is it's pretty much allows us to understand more about inclusivity, but it also empowers young athletes with disabilities and those volunteers to be able to participate in some of these sports at a younger age. But it sounds like Kyle, you was like, I think I saw the video of you. You were like throwing balls and doing all kind of stuff from like really, really young.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so, okay, is it Brent? So what's the birth order? Brent, you're first,
Me
or
and
you're
then
the oldest?
Evan and Kyle, the twins, came next, and Kyle was the last one out. He was 2 minutes after Evan, so he's the baby
Okay,
by
you're
just a
the
bit. Yeah.
baby.
Last
Do they
race he
pick on
ever
you about?
lost, he says.
Oh, really? I like that. It was the first one, but it was the last one. So, I mean, Kyle, it sounds like you're coming out good then.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, where's the future at? Where do y'all hope to see, and what's the message that you really want to communicate for those listening that are like, "Man, this sounds really awesome, and we want to find out more." What is y'all's hope for the future of the Kyle Pease Foundation, and what do you hope listeners would really take away from our conversation today?
Yeah, I think what we've started to learn is that we're really just starting to scratch the surface on what we can do with the foundation. We set out to just do 5Ks, and now we have employment and grant programs. And so I think there's a really great opportunity for this to expand, beyond our reach. We see it with a group doing the same work now as the Kyle Pease Foundation in North Georgia. We have a group in Utah. And so we see that footprint expanding, but we see the opportunities expanding and really a way to create permanent change for people with disabilities. And so, we encourage you to connect with us. You can do it all through the website, kylepeasefoundation.org. You can get the newsletter, get our social media, and just stay connected. And as Kyle likes to say, where there's a wheel, there's a way. So come wheel with us.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, Kyle's clever sometimes.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
witty.
Yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a way. I
Yeah.
love that.
You're
Kyle, what would you want listeners
You're
to
witty,
know?
Kyle. You're going to give him the giggles before we get out of here.
I know. You already got it started.
I
Maybe you
didn't.
might
I
probably
when
make
I
me
saw him
come
smiling
in.
when you said witty, and I just couldn't resist. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
I would say, you never know the impact that you're gonna have. You never know how much your impact can brighten up somebody's day. So just go out there. You owe it to yourself to try. Whatever your goal is, whether it's an Ironman or whether it's something else, you owe it to yourself to try. But when you try, commit to it. Commit to your trying. And if it works out, continue to do it. And then that might become a passion or something you love. But if it's not, you tried it. So, commit to something that you love and go after it.
I love that. Well, let me ask y'all something. If y'all were to go back to younger y'all, y'all might want to answer individually, or I might have something y'all would agree upon. But if you were to go back to younger you and give yourself just one piece of advice or encouragement. So maybe think of when y'all were kids, or it could have been when y'all were teenagers. I bet you that was fun when y'all were teenagers, or it could have even been younger when y'all were younger adults. What's one thing that you wish you could go back and tell the younger versions of y'all?
My
And
dad
I-
has
and
a
I
my
was-
dad has a thing that he says to a lot of parents of families with young children with disabilities. He just says, "Hey, it's going to be okay." And I think there were times when we were kids where it was just like, "This is hard," but I wish somebody had said, "Hey, 20 years from now, it's going to be better than okay. It's going to be great." And our parents worked really hard towards that end. And I think you see that in the work we do today. They always worked hard to help us see the positive and what was good in our lives. But I think, hearing that in those moments might have helped connect us to the past, present, and future.
I think, Chrissy, I hope that your listeners can pull out how much we love each other and how much we truly support each other. And when you love somebody and you care about them so much, you want the best for them. So you're gonna egg them on and call them witty or whatever they call me, and you're gonna support each other. So I hope that your listeners take away truly how much that we love each other and how much we're committed to the mission of the Kyle Pease Foundation.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I'm just hearing from y'all, and I think it's something, Brenton, you just said, and Kyle, I kind of heard this a little bit from you too, is one of the gifts that it sounds like for your life that now you're trying to give to others is really, in my mind, focusing on the ability versus the disability,
Mhm.
right? And y'all have done so many things, not only yourselves, but for others, that focuses on what's actually possible, then focusing on what the possible limitations could be. And I think that's a real gift to anybody that is being able to watch y'all or even be a part of what you're doing through the foundation is not only the inclusivity part, but the empowering part of I've done this, and yes, you can too, if that's something that you're really wanting to push towards. And so I just want to acknowledge both of y'all. Thank y'all for coming on the show today. Not only just for sharing a little bit of your story, but it's been fun to just watch y'all's kind of like brotherly, which I know happens all the time. And like to your point, Kyle, it's like really one of the things that does come through for both of y'all is the love that you have for each other and the support you have for each other. But also that how that is love and support does extend to others through this very important work that y'all do. So I just want to acknowledge that y'all didn't cross that finish line the first time and be like, let's stop here. You know, y'all kept going. And then Kyle was like, and let's invite other people to this as well. So that's really cool. And I'm excited to kind of continue to just follow y'all and see where it's going to be in the next 15 years. I mean, could y'all have thought 15 years ago that this is where y'all would be today?
Not at all.
No, not at all. Gee. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's incredible what a little passion and some perseverance and just moving through that hard can do. So, well, if y'all are listening, y'all know that I leave y'all with one little nugget that I'm taking from the show. And I was kind of actually writing down some things Kyle was said that I really think is just going to stick with me as I move forward through my day and week. And that is you owe yourself to try. You never know the impact your trying is going to make on someone else. And just commit to something you love and just keep going and keep pushing through because you never know who you're going to inspire by doing so. Until next time.
That's all for today on Inspiring Possible. If you found a little inspiration today, please go on over to iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you tune in to listen to leave us a comment and rate us. Also, make sure and link up with me at inspiringpossible.com to get the free Dream It, Write It, Do It workbook. And don't forget to follow us on social media and share this with anyone who needs to be inspired. Remember, if you can believe it, it's possible.